How do web apps work? How do you wake up for work every morning? How do you keep in touch with your friends and family? And most importantly, what do you do to kill time? If you answered the alarm, social media, and game apps, then congratulations! You're a true citizen of the digital age. These days, apps have taken over our lives. Instead of clocks, we check our phones for the time. Lots of people opt to shop online instead of going to the mall. All these awesome web apps are created using web programming or web development. Before we get started, make sure that you have taken the beginner and intermediate Python courses. You'll also need to be familiar with HTML. If not, we encourage you to take the optional HTML module. For this course, you'll need the latest version of Python and PyCharm. Ready? Let's go! Learning web development may sound intimidating, but it's actually a fun way for beginners and intermediate learners to develop their coding skills. Web development refers to the conceptualization, creation, and deployment of web apps and application programming interfaces, or API. So what makes up a web program? First, we have the front end, or the client side. This is what we call the information that will be sent to the browsers. These will then be presented to the users when they navigate the web app or website. When you visit a website, everything you see and interact with in your browser is part of the front end. It's composed of things like images, videos, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. These are what we call static assets. That means that they are constant in your web program. The back end, on the other hand, refers to the programming done in the server and the database. Those super cool features you see in the web apps are made possible with the back end. The information sent to the browser comes from the web server. A web server responds to the requests made by the user navigating a website. Protocol is what we call the specific format of a request. In the case of accessing websites, the protocol is HTTP, which we'll discuss later on. To understand it better, think of the front end as a trendy boutique and the back end as the clothes-making factory. Customers can browse the shop, just like how the website's visitors can navigate the site. Now we know about how information is collected and sent to the browser. But how do we store the information of the users? Let's venture to the factory, or where all the behind-the-scenes action happens. In the back end of web apps, there are databases. This is where the information is stored. There are two types of databases, relational and non-relational databases. The simple difference between these two types of databases is the way they store data. Relational databases use tables with rows and columns to organize data. They also make use of SQL. SQL is a programming language that allows us to access and modify the data in relational databases. Non-relational databases use other means, such as key-value pairs or a document storage model. They are also called NoSQL databases because they don't use SQL. Once the data is stored, it must also be read, updated, or deleted as necessary. API provides a set of rules for how the web application's data should be interacted with. Specifically, web APIs can be accessed using HTTP requests. They also function as an intermediary between the user and the website or app. Since pretty much everything is done online nowadays, let's have a real-life example of how APIs work. Suppose you want to book a ticket for a movie. There's this new app that lets you do it online. You get to select which movie you want to watch, where you want to sit, and even the flavor of your popcorn. Once you click Submit, the API will take all of your requests and send it to the cinema's website. The databases will be updated accordingly. That's it for now. In this video, we learned about the front and back ends, databases, and APIs.